Michael Foucault's lecture of other spaces, utopias and heterotopias, continues to be a critical point of reference across time as society evolves within the built environment. Foucault introduces the idea of a heterotopia, a space that exists alongside everyday environments with qualities that are strange or out of the ordinary. He provides a set of 6 defining principles to outline what a heterotopia is in reality. Although his principles offer a conceptual framework to understanding what these spaces entail, they are limited and outdated. He explores the idea of a heterotopia to be a space so separated from society, which overemphasizes the idea of difference. This neglects spaces that can blur the lines of what is considered normal and what is other. Many modern spaces exhibit hybrid characteristics of the ordinary and the unusual, actively challenging his definition of a heterotopia.
In Foucault's second principle, he claims that the function of a space evolves with the era while the space remains constant. This position, however, does not consider urbanization and technological advancements. While the shell of a structure can remain intact over time, there must be changes to its internal or external workings to stay up to date with the technology and resources of the time as well as its intended function. For instance, Slocum Hall, currently housing the School of Architecture at Syracuse University, previously contained many sectors of the university. When it officially opened in 1919, the architecture department of the College of Fine Arts shared the building with the Joseph Slocum School of Agriculture, as well as the School of Home Economics and the School of Business. A large portion of the building remains relatively the same today as it did when it served multiple academic departments. For example, the exterior appearance is almost identical, as well as the elevators, stairs, and other structural elements. However, from 1999 to 2008, the building underwent a massive renovation. The Syracuse Architecture website says that in this process, the front stairs were taken away for road expansion, the atrium was opened up to allow light and ventilation, and a cafe, gallery, reading room, and more were added to accommodate the new function of the architecture school. In this case, Foucault's claim of structural function changing over time was supported, but his idea that the structures remain the same during the process was not. For Slocum, it was imperative that the existing structure also be altered to adjust to the new program and technologies of the time, even though its shell remained very visibly similar.
In Foucault's third principle, he declares that a, quote, heterotopia is capable of juxtaposing in a single real place several spaces, several sites, that are in themselves incompatible, end quote. This definition implies that when two or more elements that are so contrasting from one another come together, they cannot coexist harmoniously. However, in modern-day society, this principle can be challenged and seen in many spaces that combine multiple perspectives and cultures which work together to create a unified environment. For example, a college university brings a variety of ideas, academic programs, and people from all over the world into one cohesive campus. A qualitative study published by Rona Haulani describes how a multicultural university is a palace where students of various cultural backgrounds are presumed to interact with one another. The student body demonstrates a group of people aiming for some common goal in the same place, despite all their different backgrounds. This creates a tight-knit and empowering community that easily contradicts Foucault's opinion that heterogeneous elements do not work well together. The campus, therefore, is a space created to provide the resources for success and encourages individuals who are different to collaborate. It becomes a heterotopia as it creates its own world alongside society, with its own unique ability to create such a strong and diverse community. Another example that refutes Foucault's principle is a museum. A museum effectively captures elements of different periods in time from all places around the world, and displays them under one roof, creating a temporal realm. When someone enters a museum, they are pulled into the various histories of cultures and societies, serving as an educational monument. The objects in museums range so much in their form, function, and meanings, but work together to create a space of ultimate reflection and exploration. The differences are what make the area so united, pushing and pulling at unique ideas to unify different times and cultures. A prominent example is the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. The Louvre is a time capsule of human civilization, with the art and the artifacts dating from ancient Egypt to classical Greek and the Renaissance. As Bravo says, these treasures provide glimpses into ancient civilizations, fostering a deeper understanding of our shared human heritage. This architectural wonder is able to fuse so many different cultures that would not normally unite under one roof.
In Foucault's fifth principle, he describes a heterotopia as a space that requires certain permission to enter and is closed off from the rest of the outside world that does not have access. These certain permissions can come in varied forms, such as clothing or language. However, his description of this principle is outdated, and in a modern context, there is much more to this idea. With the advancement of technology and the internet, there are new types of spaces accessed through this technology. There are new ways of exclusion from a given space. For example, online subscription services such as Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, or even virtual reality headsets act as a digital world inside a world that requires a specific username and password, which can be redeemed by paying a monthly subscription fee. These streaming services and online spaces act as a heterotopia that only the owner can enter. This heterotopia is not only restricted to people who have access to the headset, but also whoever is playing the game. A socioeconomic-based factor is now very present throughout this life and creates heterotopias which are ever present in modern day. Michael Foucault's idea of heterotopias remains relevant today as society navigates the modern world. He provides a foundational understanding of how these spaces within spaces exist alongside the built environment. However, his defining principles exhibit limitations when applied to contemporary situations. As seen through spaces such as universities, museums, and digital realms, heterotopias can be much more broad than what Foucault suggested. As society continues to evolve, the definition of a heterotopia will evolve as well and will not stay conformed to Foucault's theory. The idea of a heterotopia will be constantly developing as civilization advances.